Okay, thank you. Well, now we're going to move on to file item 4C, which is a mid-year update on council priorities. So I've been in my role for not quite 2 months, and I felt that it was a good time to provide an update to the council that followed up on a discussion we had last December. At that council meeting, staff presented a list of 20 priority activities for the forthcoming year, 2014. And the feedback that we received from the council at that time was that 20 was probably too many and that we needed to prioritize our priorities, which I think could be like the council's tagline, actually. So if you turn to file item 4C, you'll see the staff report on the mid-year update and a spreadsheet. So here's essentially what we've done. Upon review, we realized that from the list of 20, everything pretty much fell into 3 categories. Our top priorities, things that absolutely needed to either get done or have significant progress in 2014. Core functions of the council, which are more ongoing activities that we needed to shore up or further develop or meet significant milestones on in 2014. And then other activities. So what you see in the spreadsheet are the first 5 are our top priorities, and the following 8 are core functions that we've identified. So this template was really developed by senior staff for my use so that I can track progress on activities throughout the remainder of the year based on major milestones, and then keep the council apprised and keep the chair apprised as we meet weekly. The spreadsheet includes dates or timeframes for reporting out on these milestones at council meetings, and we're using this spreadsheet to form essentially the council meeting agendas for the next 6 months. After we developed this new spreadsheet internally, we met with the chair to get his concurrence to brief him on the process and the content. And we agreed that at the end of the year, we'll report back in the form of our annual report, which is going to summarize council accomplishments and highlight overall progress in implementing the Delta Plan. So as the staff report indicates, we applied 5 criteria to distill from the 20 to the 5 top priorities, and also to identify the core functions. We wanted to make sure that in order for something to make the cut, that it was part of implementing the Delta Plan, either a recommendation or in furtherance of one of our policies, or it was a directive of the Delta Reform Act. It needed to, we reviewed at the Governor's Water Action Plan because several Delta Plan implementation items are highlighted in that action plan, which means that they have the attention and focus of other agencies, so we wanted to take advantage of that momentum and those synergies. We wanted to identify areas where the council is the lead on an activity, where it has funding and where it has staff that can be assigned to that activity. For example, the interim science action agenda or the levy investment strategy are both areas where the council is the lead. We wanted to achieve a general balance across the co-equal goals, as always. And then we wanted to make sure, we are a fledgling agency. We are essentially still in our startup phase, or maybe transitioning out of our startup phase. So we're continuing to build our core competencies. And an example of that is the establishment and now kind of the honing of our regulatory program and trainings associated with that program, and the process that we have set up for early consultations for other agencies. So you'll see that the top 5 priorities that we identified are our levy investment strategy, our interim science action agenda, habitat restoration, delta flows and associated stressors, and then land use and local plan coordination. A few years ago, I'm not sure we envisioned the extent to which land use coordination would be such a part of our daily planning activities, but if you review the Reform Act, you'll see that there's essentially a list of local plans and state plans that the council is expected to review, comment on, influence, ensure consistency with. And so we are realizing and have over the past 12 months built our internal planning staff in order to be consistent with the law and ensuring that we're fulfilling this role, which really no one else right now fulfills. The core functions we identified include those activities that support our mission as the council and their ongoing major staff activities that will likely continue beyond this year. They are the Delta Plan Implementation, Interagency Implementation Committee, or the DPIC, as it's lovingly called, the Covered Actions Regulatory Function of the council, the Delta Science Plan Implementation, maintaining the state of Bay Delta science, which also includes the issuance of a every 4-year report. Our directive in the Reform Act to track and issue updates on performance measures. Our multiple roles as they pertain to the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. And then the Delta Reform Act directive to seek federal approval under the Coastal Zone Management Act, which we are beginning this year. So I've got Dan and Cindy up here in case there are any questions, but right now I'd like to offer the microphone to Peter in case he'd like to say a few words about how the science program fits into these activities or drives these activities in some cases.